Hi, I've wanted to do a presentation on some topics, and I think I'm going to start with Debussy. Composers all have their own style. There's all elements of melody, of harmony, of texture, whether it's a chord, an arpeggiated figure, some kind of figure that goes across the keys. When people think of Claude Debussy, they usually think of Clair de Lune. Or Prelude to Afternoon of a Faun, or to the symphonic piece, La Mer. He wrote quite a variety of piano pieces, and this one from Book 1 of the Preludes, I think is an interesting one to start with. This is the girl with the flaxen hair. It's one of the more accessible Debussy preludes, and for people who don't know his work so well, this is maybe what they think of when they think of Debussy. It starts simply enough with a single melodic figure, and then you'll notice he adds chords, he harmonizes it in the third bar over here. So that we start that's consonant enough. And then we end up on a G flat major chord. You know, very innocent, very, very much in a tonal realm. But we stay there. Still very tonal, very seemingly innocent, as a girl with the flaxen hair perhaps would be. Then he revisits the melody. Debussy usually pairs phrases or repetitions of themes. That's one way he gave coherence, one element of his style. But this time, instead of having a single melody, you could hear that he harmonized it. He added the chords, and he made it a little bit more dissonant. It's still in the tonal realm, but he's actually these are based on the whole tone scale, something he used a lot in his work. But you see, it's another added element back to the consonants, the G flat major. Still with the G flat major, a little added dissonance that doesn't belong there. So sorry. Then we have these chords based on fourths. Fourth being this kind of an interval. This is known as a tritone. That's a dissonant interval which, because of its construction, allows it to pivot from a lot of things. So composers use it a lot because it opens up a new world. Plus, it's also part of a very traditional chord, the dominant seventh chord. Play ball, right? It resolves in a 5 chord. So it can have a very tonal traditional meaning, or it can have a far more abstract. It's grab and use these to create something very different world of fourths and create a mystic chord based on that. But Debussy also used it in new ways too. So we have our tritone there. Has to be resolved, right? We're not settled yet. We're back to the sunshine. We're back to tonality. these sevenths. And as you usually do, sevenths can be played in succession and then resolved, as long as you resolve them. Not quite resolved yet, but we're not done with the piece yet. Well, that's very traditional E flat major, and then he goes on. Let's give you the piece. Let's hear it, and you can sort of hear how these elements work. I haven't talked about all of it, but listen for, how he has a single melody, how he has these rather consonant chords, and how he has more dissonant intervals. The Girl with the Flaxen Hair from Book 1 of the Debussy Preludes. So it's a very consonant piece, something we would very much expect of Debussy. He wrote some others, which I think I'll talk about in more detail in a subsequent presentation. One of them, one of my favorites, that's also within Book 1. You can see that's a very, very different world. It's not this tonal, melodic world that we had in The Girl with the Flaxen Hair. Of course, this is called The Wind on the Plain. We get the sense of the wind, this repetition, this motoric. Plus, that's rather more dissonant than the G flat major and the E flat major that we had in The Girl with the Flaxen Hair. So he's doing something else. He's conjuring, he's using the music to create the world of these titles that he has at the end. He doesn't have the title at the beginning. He has it as the end. So it's like, oh, okay, after I've heard this piece, I can see how that might be that. So it's not so much a programmatic piece as it's a suggestion. He has clusters. Very different from the traditional, like I said, the 5/7. one. You know, he's working with chords as melodic and harmonic material as well. But that I'll cover in the next series of these videos. So thanks so much for watching this, and take care of yourself.